Hello guys, my name is Ami Handayani and this is my friend is Asadel Reka. We are the second semester software engineering student. We live in a boarding house in Jonggol. To complete a college assignment, we rode our motorcycle to visit an IT company and interview the director. We had a great 30-minute chat. The director shared a lot of real-world experience, new tech word, and honest advice about the IT industry. Here is the full story of what we learned from him. We planned to meet at 9 a.m., but we arrived around 8 a.m. Because we came earlier than expected, since we still had a lot of time before the meeting, we decided to walk around and look for some food first. Because it was still very early in the morning, not many restaurants or food stalls were open yet. After walking for a while, we finally found a place that looked pretty good and worth trying. When we were about to order, we asked the owner, "Are you already open?" Then the woman apologized and told us that the restaurant actually sold pork dishes. After that, she kindly shows us another area with more halal food place, but most of them were located inside small lots. So we walked again and finally found a small coffee shop or local cafe. Right next to it, there was also a fried chicken stall. After that, we went back to the place where we had arranged the meeting with the director. We waited in the lobby for quite a long time, until around 11 a.m. when the director finally arrived, and that was the moment when we started the interview. Okay, this is a summary of the result of our interview PT Patriot Global Nusantara. The first is how a project works or how the workflow. The director explained that his company follows a modern step-by-step method called Agile or SDLC to build software. Most of his clients, 95% to 98% are government office like ministries and local departments. The rest are private companies. For example, they once built a barcode system for Astra Honda Motor. Because they work mostly with the government, they must follow strict official rules. Everything starts with a document from the client called the KAK or TOR, Terms of Reference. This document lists all the feature and technical needs. The team must match these needs perfectly. These rules are locked into official contracts called the SOW or Scope of Work, and BRD, Business Recruitment requirement document. After the contract is signed, different team members start their jobs, like sales and marketing. They find the clients and make deals. The director often does this job himself. And then BA or business analyst, they design the big business idea. For example, how an online shop will work. And next, system analyst and product manager, PM. They turn the big idea into technical plans. They choose the programming language, design the database, and make flowchart or step-by-step diagram. And the next is UI UX designer. They look at the flowchart and create the visual design. They make mock-up and prototypes, so the client can see what the app will look like before the coding starts. Next is developers or programmers. The back-end developer creates the logic and APIs. The front-end developer builds the screen that users see, and the DevOps engineer manages the servers. All programmers must save their work online using GitHub or GitLab. They are not allowed to keep code only on their own computers. This is important because the team works from different cities, like Central Java and East Java, and the project stays safe if someone gets sick. Next is QA or tester. Before the app goes live, it is tested in two ways. First is the function test to make sure everything works without error or bugs. And the second is the security test, penetration testing or pen test, to find and fix any weak points where hacker could get in. Next is SIT and UAT. First, the team tests the application internally. This is called SIT or system integration testing. If it is good, they test it with the client. This is called UAT, user acceptance testing. If the client finds a mistake during UAT, the app goes back to the developers to be fixed. And then the last is deployment. Once the client is happy and approves the UAT, the app is officially launched to the public. Okay. The second question is the second topic is team communication and task management. The director explained how his remote team stays connected and organized. They use project management tools like Jira. Jira is a paid app for professionals, or Trello. Trello, a free app for managing tasks. They break the project down into smaller parts. Parts 1, parts 2, etc. When a programmer finishes a task, they update it on the digital board. The great thing in that the client also gets access to this board. This allows the client to see the exact percentage of progress at any time, making everything clear and transparent. The third topic is handling sudden client requests. Sometimes a client asks for sudden change or new feature in the middle of a project. In the IT industry, this is called a CR or change request. The directors say the team cannot just say yes or no blindly. First, they must write and sign a new official agreement called Berita Acara Kesepakatan. Because the original project had strict boundaries and CR will change the timeline and push back the deadline. The client must agree to this because a longer project means higher costs, such as paying the developers for the extra month. However, if the request change is very small, the project manager will act as a bridge. The PM will tell the programmers to just code it directly. They skip making a new UI UX mockup to save time and keep the project moving fast. And the next topic is how to get and keep clients. Okay, when we ask how to make clients trust them, the director answered clearly: portfolio and track record. Big clients want to see proof. When the company can show a portfolio of successful apps they built for government ministries or big brands like Honda, clients automatically trust them. For beginners who do not have a big portfolio yet, he shared a secret: use your network and relationship. Getting your first project from people you already know or through friends is much easier than offering service to strangers, because basic trust is already there. At the same time, you must truly believe that your project is great. If you are confident, the client will feel that positive energy. And to keep old clients happy, the company uses an after-sales service strategy. This means staying in touch consistently. The director said he often invite all clients to just drink coffee and chat casually. In this relaxed meeting, he actively asks how their apps are running and if they need any help. This extra care after the project is done builds strong, long-term relationships. And the next topic is college versus the real tech industry. As second semester students, we were surprised to hear how different college is from the real industry. In college, students usually only focus on coding an app. They rarely learn about the business side. Students do not see the long process before coding, such as pitching to clients, having a kick-off meeting, or signing legal contracts, and more. To fix this big gap, the director creates an internal bootcamp at his company when they have a lot of projects. They gather people and train them quickly using real-world project with a teacher. The best and faster learners in the bootcamp are directly hired to join the main team. Okay, the next topic is staying up to date with new technology. Okay. The director explained that technology changes very fast, so the team can never stop learning. The management must always watch global trends to see which programming language are winning the market. Right now, he gave examples like Python and Golang. To keep the team's knowledge fresh, the company regularly runs training programs. They use their internal bootcamps as a place for existing employees and learn and master the newest digital tools and coding methods. Okay, next, why a portfolio and personal branding matter so much today? During our conversation, we also asked the director about how important a portfolio and personal branding are for a programmer today. He looked at us and said, they are incredibly important. In the modern tech world, you cannot just tell people you are good at coding. You have to show them. He explained it to us with these simple points. The first is the ultimate trust builder. Clients in the IT world are very logical. They will never trust you just because you have a university degree or said that you are a genius. A portfolio acts as physical proof. It shows them exactly what apps you have built, what code you use, and which companies have trusted you before. And the second is your personal value. Having a strong portfolio automatically increases your value in the market. When you can showcase real working projects, clients will not hesitate to pay you a high price because they know their money is in safe, comparable hands. The next topic is crucial skills beyond coding. We then asked the director about what skill clients look for besides the ability to write code. He smiled and told us that coding is actually only a small part of the job. In the real business world, a programmer needs strong soft skills to survive. He highlighted these key points. First is communication and relationship management. Clients love developers who are easy to talk to and don't feel stiff. Being able to explain technical things in simple words, listening to client complaints patiently, and negotiating smoothly are high value skills. And the second is the power of after sales service. In marketing, your job doesn't end when the app is launched. The director shared that he regularly invites old clients or just to drink coffee and chat casually, yes. In these relaxed meetings, he actively asks, how is the app running? Do you have any problems? Is there anything we can improve? This extra care makes clients feel respected and it keeps them coming back to his company instead and switching to competitors. The last topic maybe is the reality of office transitions and unexpected challenges. Right at the beginning of our meeting, before we even started asking our main questions, the director gave us a very honest look into everyday business life. When we asked how he was doing, he looked and mentioned that his office was currently going through a transition phase and that ada aja. This is always something happen or some kind of issue. This taught us a valuable lesson that you don't usually see in textbooks. Embracing the chaos in the real world, running an IT company it's always smooth. Even when you are a director, you have to deal with unexpected office transitions, changing setups, or random daily hurdles while still making time to meet with clients and students like us. And adaptability is key. It shows us that flexibility is just as important as technical workflow. A good leader has to keep the business moving forward and stay welcoming, even when things behind the scenes are a bit chaotic. Yeah. So, this is the conclusions today. So this interview really opened our eyes. Being a software engineer is not just about writing code. It is also about managing people, communicating well with clients, understanding business laws, and being ready to learn new things every day. We end our valuable visit by thanking the director for sharing his time with us. Finally, after discussing we a friendly small talk and saying goodbye, uh, yeah, after discussing all the serious question about workflow, coding, and business strategy, the interview returned to a very relaxed and casual conversation. We looked at our notes and realized we had wasted a lot of his time. We said to him, hello sir, those are all our questions. Thank you so much for explaining everything so clearly. The director just smiled and told us it was not a problem at all. He reminded us again that since we were still in our second semester, it was perfectly normal to feel overwhelmed by all the new terms like UAT, SIT, pen test, or change requests. He gave us some final words of encouragement, saying, "Keep studying hard, enjoy your class, and be sure to drink plenty of coffee together while discussing your college project." We all laughed, and we thank him again for being so gracious and patient with us, especially since his office was busy dealing with the transition phase. We stood up and told him that his insight would definitely make our college report look amazing. With big smiles and a ton of new knowledge, we left his office, got back on our motorbikes or motorcycles, and enjoyed the long ride back to our boarding house in Jonggol. Okay, that's the end of our journey for today. After finishing the interview and activities, we continue our trip home while taking turns reading the motorcycle because it was quite a long journey. Hopefully, from this interview, we can gain new knowledge, valuable experiences, and better insight about the professional working world and the technology industry. We also hope this visit can motivate us to keep learning, improving our skills, and preparing ourselves for the future. Thank you for following our journey today. See you again in the next video. Bye bye.